It's time again for Northwestern Outdoors Radio, the show covering fishing, hunting, and all sorts of outdoor recreation and destinations right here in the region you live and play in. Northwestern Outdoors is brought to you every week by Max Lure Company, makers of the world-famous wedding ring spinner, by Loophole, America's Optics Authority, and by Sportsman's Warehouse, America's premier outfitter. Northwestern Outdoors is also sponsored by Wallowa County in Northeast Oregon, where you'll find both nature and fun. By Chad's Coastwide Sports Fishing, offering you the affordable Canadian fishing trip of a lifetime. And by Camp Chef, the way to cook outdoors. So grab your fishing rod or hunting gear, load up the boat or lace up your boots, and let's head outdoors with your host, John Cruz.
Welcome to the show. Sportsman Show season rolls on. One of the things we do when we go is we meet with some of the guides and exhibitors and share their stories with you. That's exactly what we did at the track in Pasco recently when we attended the Tri-City Sportsman Show. One of the first conversations we had was with guide Austin Mosier. He's just a great young man. He's the owner of Austin's Northwest Adventures. He's been fishing that big impoundment of the Columbia River known as Lake Roosevelt in eastern Washington this winter, and he's been hammering not one, not two, but 3 species of fish. I guarantee you're going to want to hear about this winter fishing trifecta involving kokanee, trout, and burbot. Now, if you go fishing for kokanee this winter and you're looking for a good lure to use, consider the Max Kokanee Cha-Cha Squidder. Lance Mers with Max Lure Company will tell you all about it during this week's Extended Max Minute. After that, we talked to Ann Erica White Marsh. She runs a very unique nonprofit called Rascal Rodeo. They go all over the Northwest, putting together mini rodeos for people of all ages with special needs. It's really incredible. And if you know any special needs kids or adults who could use some exposure to the Western lifestyle and a lot of fun, you'll want to find out when they are coming to a town near you this year. In our outdoor news segment, we've got information about new public access to a popular Idaho fishing stream. More pronghorn have been introduced into Washington State, and guide Bruce Hewitt breaks down trophy walleye fishing on the Snake and Columbia Rivers near the Tri-Cities. We'll follow that up with some upcoming events, which includes a chat with Cindy Carpenter, the founder of Youth Outdoors Unlimited, about a fundraiser they've got coming up in Moses Lake, Washington. We'll brief you on what sportsman shows are coming your way soon. We'll tell you about a bird watching festival in Klamath Falls, and then we'll throw in our Sportsman's Warehouse Trivia Question of the Week, where you get a chance to win a $25 gift card from Sportsman's Warehouse. But first, David Sparks has a very interesting edition of Sportsman Spotlight for you, especially if you are a fly tyer and angler. It's about some new flies that you just might call foxy. Sportsman Spotlight is brought to you every week by Chad's Coastwide Sports Fishing. They offer awesome yet affordable saltwater fishing vacations out of Port Hardy, British Columbia. Find out more at coastwidesportsfishing.com.
Flies from fox fur. I'm David Sparks with Sportsman Spotlight. I ran into Dennis Pierce at the Boise Sportsman Show. Dennis is a lifelong angler who was introduced to fly fishing by his grandfather in the 60s. In the 1990s, he changed careers and joined the fishing tackle industry. He's been a sales rep, manufacturer, and distributor in the fly industry, and now the inventor and manufacturer of the Arctic Fox series. This fly series is used for trolling. It was inspired by the introduction of Arctic fox fur as a widely available fly material in the 1990s. Previous streamer fly designs were primarily constructed with feathers. Obviously, feathers are built for flight, which necessitates light, dainty characteristics, and by contrast, fur has evolved to protect the animal, which in the case of fox fur resulted in a high tensile strength fiber. This fur is supple, which allows it to move in the water like marabou and still stand up to minnow-crushing hits from predator fish. Here's Dennis.
I developed a series of flies that I call Arctic Fox trolling flies. They're based on Arctic fox fur because of the tensile strength. It's a white fur, so you can dye it a lot of different colors, but behind the action disc, it just swims in the water.
The price of these flies is in the neighborhood of $5. Dennis just mentioned the action disc, which is something unbelievable in and of itself. This is David Sparks for Sportsman's Spotlight. Hey, if you've got a hunting or a fishing story that you'd like to share with us, then get in touch with us at our website, aginfo.net.
A quality and affordable fishing adventure is waiting for you off Vancouver Island with Chad's Coast-Wide Sports Fishing. Located in Port Hardy, British Columbia, you can drive or fly to your all-inclusive guided fishing vacation. Whether you're after big salmon, hard-fighting halibut, or a cooler full of red snapper and lingcod, you can catch it all here. Better yet, your lodging, meals, and fish processing are all taken care of. Want one more reason to go? The price. With the Canadian dollar exchange rate where it is right now, your U.S. dollar goes further. Space is limited, so go to coastwidesportsfishing.com to book your trip. That's coastwidesportsfishing.com for an incredible BC fishing adventure.
It's Sportsman Showtime in Central Washington, and Schuler Productions once again has got 3 great shows coming your way. It starts off with the Tri-City Sportsman Show at the Track and Pasco, January 22nd through the 24th. Following that, the Central Washington Sportsman Show, February 19th through the 21st in the Yakima Sundome. And then, this is the Wenatchee Sportsman Show at the Town Toyota Center, February 26th to the 28th. Find out more at SchulerProductions.com.
Leupold Gold Ring Optics are built to perform at the highest level, shot after shot, year after year. Our rifle scopes, binoculars, spotting scopes, rangefinders, and more always come through when you need them most. That's why our American-built products have a lifetime guarantee. Or as we like to say here at Leupold, they are guaranteed for a lifetime of performance, not a lifetime of replacement. Find out more about our top-quality gear and our lifetime guarantee at Leupold.com. Leupold, America's optics authority.
I'm gonna take you fishing, honey. You're gonna love it. Gonna get up before the sun rise above us. Got a bamboo pole and a leaky boat. It ain't much, but if you bail, it'll float.
You're back at Northwestern Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz. The fishing doesn't stop in the Northwest in winter, especially trout fishing and kokanee fishing. I know a lot of you folks think you have to wait till spring, but you don't. With us here, tell us about a place where you can catch both these fish in very good size is Austin Mosier. He is the owner of Austin's Northwest Adventures. Austin, always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Yeah, great. It's great to be here, John.
Austin, where have you been fishing? Where have you been catching kokanee and trout this winter?
Well, I've been fishing up on Lake Roosevelt. Been doing really well for kokanee and rainbows. We're catching kokanee anywhere from 18 to 22 inches. They're just trophy fish. Can't keep a lot of them. We're, the limit's 6 kokanee, but you can only have 2 be wild of that limit, and you can keep 5 rainbows. And the rainbow fishing has been very good as well. Great eating fish, and it's been a fun fishery.
We'll break this down in a minute, but first things first, how big are the rainbow? I traditionally hear about Lake Roosevelt rainbow being around 14, 16 inches. Is that what they're running?
Yeah, we're getting them 14 to 18 inches, and occasionally you'll get some over 20 inches. The limit up there is 2 over 20 per person and 5 rainbows total for the day.
Now, Lake Roosevelt, it's a big, big impoundment of the Columbia River. Stretches all the way from Electric City and Grand Coulee up past Kettle Falls. I mean, you're talking a lot of miles there. What part of this lake are you fishing, the lower end?
Yeah, I concentrate the lower end. As they start doing the drawdown, all the fish start to concentrate. They follow the plankton down the lake, and they concentrate in the lower stretches of the lake from Lincoln down to Spring Canyon. And I'll start up around the Lincoln area, work my way down as the fish move down the lake through Keller Ferry and down to Spring Canyon.
All right, so let's go ahead and talk tactics here. We'll start off with the kokanee, because again, a lot of people, they just don't think of catching kokanee in the winter, and you're catching some really nice ones here, like you said. What exactly are you doing to get fish in the boat?
Well, I've been running I throw a big array of stuff at the fish. We'll run 6 rods at a time, run a couple side planers, side winders, side planers out the side with some plugs on them. I'm running fast limit dodgers and free drifter flies, and we're tipping them with corn and different things like maggots and night crawlers on occasion. We're running some K-flies, and the Rapalas have been working well, and some flicker shads and some maglips, actually, the 2.5 and the 3.0 version.
These are not lures at all I think of when I think of fishing for kokanee. That's really interesting. Let's talk about depth. How high or low are these fish in the water column?
I've been catching fish anywhere from 25 feet up. They're in the upper part of the water column. A lot of fish are coming around 15 feet down on the surface, and some of the plugs are only running 6 to 12 feet deep, and so when the fish hit those plugs, they are jumping out of the water, and you see these fish flopping around, and sometimes that's how you know you got one on, when you got a fish 100 feet behind the boat jumping.
Oh, well, I love it. So unlike places like Lake Chelan, where anglers a lot of times are using downriggers, definitely not a downrigger show here at Lake Roosevelt.
Well, it's not a downrigger show at this time of year. As the year moves on, the fish will go deeper. This will fish all through the summer, but the fish will travel deeper, and you have to adjust your fishing tactics that way. I still run downriggers a little bit. I'll run 2 downriggers right now, but I only run them about 15 feet down, and it just kind of opens up. It just gets my spread a little better so I don't get tangles that way.
You're listening to Northwestern Outdoors Radio. We're talking to Austin Mosier, the owner of Austin's Northwest Adventures, about fishing Lake Roosevelt for both kokanee and trout. They're both really good size this time of year. And we just talked about kokanee. Let's turn our attention to those beautiful rainbow trout that you find there. Exactly how are you catching them?
Well, we're running the same type of gear for the rainbows. Basically what I'll do when we limit out on our kokanee, I will just swap out from corn and maggots, and I'll just put worms on all the baits, and I seem to get more rainbows when I use night crawlers.
Well, it doesn't get any easier than that. I absolutely love that. Lake Roosevelt is known as a lake that not only has these cold water fish, but also has warm water fish like walleye. Do you ever target the walleye in Lake Roosevelt?
I do a little bit of that, but I put more of my concentration in Banks Lake and the potholes area. I do a little bit of burbot fishing on Roosevelt as well, but that's kind of they're not hard to catch, but I don't get a lot of interest in it, but they're a neat fish as well.
That's actually very intriguing to me because, burbot, freshwater ling, for some of you if you've never heard of them before, really weird-looking fish. Like you said, don't get a lot of attention. I've never caught one. I think most anglers never have. How do you even go about fishing for them?
It's a pretty simple way of fishing. Basically, you find where you think the fish are holding, and I just jig off the bottom. There's some great videos if you go on YouTube that the state has put out about these burbot fisheries up there in the Lake Roosevelt, and it's just a jig, chartreuse jigs with a night crawler on it, and just a real short jigging action.
So, how do they fight? How do they eat? And what's the limit?
They fight kind of they look like an eel when they come up. They kind of snake-like, they kind of twist and turn and stuff. They don't fight really that hard. They don't have a real big tail fin to put a lot of pressure on you, but they come up, and the best part about them is how well they eat. They're probably one of the best freshwater fish I've ever eaten.
Are they classified as a game fish? Is there an actual limit on them?
Yeah, there is a limit. It's 5 per person, and it's just the statewide limit up there. That's a statewide limit for any lake that doesn't specify any different limit for burbot.
Interesting stuff. So there you go, folks. Not only kokanee and rainbow, but burbot too up at Lake Roosevelt this winter. Let's go ahead and look ahead and see what's coming up for Austin come spring. Are you going to be heading down towards Drano Lake and the Wind River and doing the spring Chinook fishery here in a couple months?
Yeah, I'll go down and do some time down there at the Wind River, a little bit at Drano. I'm going to spend some time early spring down at Cathlamet, just kind of fun fishing. That I really like going down to Cathlamet and doing that fishery for springers. Great fish.
So let's talk about the springers. Do you have any word on how the forecast is this year?
I think it's going to be a strong year. They're calling for above average, so we'll see. They try to predict the best they can, but they're not always right. So
that's an understatement. As a matter of fact, they're almost always off. But there's been enough fish the last few years that nobody's complaining. All right, last but not least, if people want to book a trip with you, how can they go about doing it?
Well, you can go to my website. It's austinsnorthwestadventuresllc.com, or you can call me. My phone number is 509-668-0298.
That phone number again is 509-668-0298. That's 509-668-0298. Or go to Austin's website. It's austinsnorthwestadventuresllc.com. That's austinsnorthwestadventuresllc.com. You'll find him on Facebook, too. It's Austin Mosier. He's a new guy, but not too new. He's been doing this about 4 or 5 years now, and he's really making a name for himself in the Northwest. If you want to go fishing at Lake Roosevelt for kokanee, for trout, or maybe try burbot, or book a spring Chinook trip, give him a call. Austin, always a pleasure to have you on Northwestern Outdoors Radio.
Thanks for having me out, John.
You're gonna love it. Gonna get up before the sun rise above us. Got a bamboo pole and a leaky boat. It ain't much, but if you bail, it'll float. I'm gonna take you fishing, honey. You're gonna love it.
Quality and affordable fishing adventure is waiting for you off Vancouver Island with Chad's Coast-Wide Sports Fishing. Located in Port Hardy, British Columbia, you can drive or fly to your all-inclusive guided fishing vacation. Whether you're after big salmon, heart-fighting halibut, or a cooler full of red snapper and lingcod, you can catch it all here. Better yet, your lodging, meals, and fish processing are all taken care of. Want one more reason to go? The price. With the Canadian dollar exchange rate where it is right now, your U.S. dollar goes further. Space is limited, so go to coastwidesportsfishing.com to book your trip. That's coastwidesportsfishing.com for an incredible BC fishing adventure.
Looking for the ultimate cooking machine for your backyard or patio? Look no further than Camp Chef's new pellet grill and smoker. With user-friendly features like an auto ignition, digital readouts, and internal meat temperature sensors, it's easy to smoke the tastiest salmon, ribs, brisket, and turkey you'll ever eat. And an innovative system makes cleanup a snap. Everyone will want the food you're cooking on your Camp Chef pellet grill and smoker. The quality smoker that's second to none. Find out more at campchef.com. Camp Chef, the way to cook outdoors.
It's Sportsman Showtime in Central Washington, and Schuler Productions once again has got 3 great shows coming your way. It starts off with the Tri-City Sportsman Show at the Track and Pasco, January 22nd through the 24th. Following that, the Central Washington Sportsman Show, February 19th through the 21st in the Yakima Sun Dome. And then this is the Wenatchee Sportsman Show at the Town's Toyota Center, February 26th to the 28th. Find out more at SchulerProductions.com.
Leupold has been building optics in Oregon since 1907, and Leupold binoculars bring excellent optical performance and modern styling to the serious outdoorsman. Whether you're a boater, birder, backpacker, or hunter, Leupold's state-of-the-art binocular lines are sure to fit your needs. Visit Leupold.com or your local Cabela's, Bi-Mart, or Sportsman's Warehouse to see the full line of Leupold optics.
You're back with more of the great outdoors on Northwestern Outdoors Radio with John Cruz.
It's time again for another Max Minute.
Fish on!
Brought to you by Max Lure Company. With us is Lance Mers. Lance, understand you've been doing a little winter kokanee fishing. Where you been?
I've been freezing my butt off is what I've been, John. So a couple of weeks ago, we went up and fished Lake Roosevelt for trout and kokanee. It did pretty good, but one of the things that we were using is the Max Lure Cha-Cha Kokanee Squitter. My absolute bread and butter. If ever I'm kokanee fishing at all, I'm using the Cha-Cha Kokanee Squitter on at least one of my rods.
Let's go ahead and talk about the lure itself. Then I want to talk more about the fish that you're finding in Lake Roosevelt. So let's talk about this lure, the Cha-Cha Kokanee Squitter. It's got the patented smile blade on top, couple of beads, got a hoochie, small hoochie, and then a couple of small red hooks. And this is your magic.
It is. And the hooks are actually a size 4, which I really like to use because, 2 hooks on a kokanee is better than 1 because kokanee have such soft mouths. But the hoochies themselves, along with the smile blades, are really high UV. So, these are great for fishing on Lake Pend Oreille, where they're still catching kokanee right now. Lake Roosevelt's got some really big kokanee. Lake Chelan, they're just pounding them up there right now. So, it seems like the kokanee season keeps getting earlier and earlier. And I like to put on a little bit of warmer clothes just so I can get an early start.
So there you go. One other thing I got to ask you here. 2 things. Number 1, are we doing the classic shoe peg corn on this for bait or something different?
Yep, white shoe peg corn. And, we've got 2 new colors this year, too. So it little adds to the arsenal. So, you got to come to our website and check it out.
All right, and that website is maxlure.com, maxlure.com. Find out more about the Cha-Cha Kokanee Squitter and other lures you can use to catch kokanee this winter here in the Northwest.
Looking for that extra something that will get more salmon or trout into your boat? Then check out the Double D Dodger from Max Lure. The Double D does double duty and helps you catch more fish. The Double D's flash attracts lunkers, and the Dodger's patented stop-start action works wonders to get those fish biting. The Double D does even more by acting as a side planer to get your bait away from the boat where the fish are more likely to be and more apt to strike. The Double D Dodger. It's the Dodger you've got to have from Max Lure.
It doesn't matter what sort of adventure you're after. Whether it's big game deep in the backcountry, a day of fishing out on the water, or an overnight in the great outdoors. At Sportsman's Warehouse, we've got the gear in here for what you need out there. Gear up for your next adventure at one of the Sportsman's Warehouse stores or shop online. Sportsman's Warehouse, America's premier outfitter.
It's almost time for the best indoor-outdoor adventure show. Yes, it's the annual Bighorn Outdoor Adventure Show. Coming soon, March 17th through the 20th at the Spokane County Fair and Expo Center in Spokane. Backed by popular demand this year is Duck Dog, sponsored by Ziggy's Building Materials. Go online to bighornshow.com to see the competition schedule or to register your dog. Christy Titus will be on site doing elk call demonstrations. Enter for your chance to win lunch with Christy Titus, plus tons more information at bighornshow.com.
Welcome back to Northwestern Outdoors Radio. We've got a real special organization to tell you about today. It's called Rascal Rodeo. They produce rodeo events for special needs people of all ages throughout the Pacific Northwest. We're talking to the founder of the organization, Ann Erica Whitemarsh. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. We appreciate it.
Ann Erica, let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about exactly what Rascal Rodeo does.
We produce rodeo events for people with special needs of all ages throughout the Pacific Northwest. We have gotten requests from about 14 other states all throughout the U.S., and the whole purpose of it is to show the participants that they're loved, cared for, accepted, and we focus on the abilities rather than any disability.
So let's talk about what kind of audience is participating in these events that you hold here.
Hosted anywhere from 2 years old to 68 years old, autism, Down syndrome, spina bifida, schizophrenic, hearing loss, sight loss, all across the board. We don't keep any kind of record because we don't ask what their disability is, because that's not what we want to focus on. We just advertise, for people with mental or physical disabilities, and people show up and have a ton of fun.
So now that we know who's involved in these events, let's talk about the events themselves. They're one-day events. You basically set them up. And what does the Rascal Rodeo consist of for the participants?
We are usually hosted by a rodeo, a professional or amateur rodeo, and a fair. And we go in there, set up. We depend on the local volunteers of the different cities that we go to help us get set up and bring the horses and ponies. And then the participants arrive and get to do wild cow milking, which is plywood cut out and painted like a cow with calf bottle teats on the backside. Then we've got bull riding, bronc riding, unicorn riding, and those are 55-gallon barrels that make different motions mimicking the rough stock events. Calf roping, steer roping, stick horse barrel racing, and then the horse rides and pony rides.
Obviously the roping, you're roping stationary things. You're not roping real cattle, but you are riding, or the participants are riding real horses. And I understand that you actually have miniature horses that'll pull wagons for some of the participants too.
Yes, the miniature horses are a big hit because they are about as big as a house dog. And several participants that aren't sure about the regular size horses, they get warmed up to them and then they move on to the bigger horses. And 5 years ago, our first year, we had one participant, Jacob, come, and he has autism, and it was a little overwhelming for him. An arena with 200 people and soft music playing and animals, but he went over to the ponies and he kissed them goodbye that day. The next year he came, he actually got on the horses and was quoted in our newspaper saying he thought he was going to take a horse home with him that day. The third time he came running into the arena, said, "Hey, I'm Jacob Sarver, world champion horse rider. I'm here to ride all your horses." And that day he handpicked his volunteer buddy, who was Maggie Little, and she has since gifted him her childhood horse. So
Wow.
For someone to come to us 5 years ago and not want anything really to do with us, he now owns his own horse. His parents brought a new house with property so they can have their horse at home with them, and he brings his horse to our events now as a volunteer.
That is an incredible story. Gotta ask, is there any cost for the participants to attend?
The events are free of charge to the participants. That way we can continue our motto of making them feel accepted. And if we put a price tag on that, then it wouldn't be too accepting. And families with special needs, kids, they already have enough expenses. And so we depend on donations and sponsorships and different fundraisers to keep that free of charge.
You're listening to Northwestern Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz. We're talking to Ann Erica Whitemarsh. She's the founder of Rascal Rodeo. They produce rodeo events for special needs people of all ages throughout the Pacific Northwest. And let's talk about some of the places you're going to be at this year, because you're hitting quite a few destinations.
Yes, we have been growing. 3 years ago, we went from 4 events one year to 7 events to 14 events, and now we've got 16 and 4 more proposals out there. We travel throughout the Washington, Oregon, and Idaho, as far north as Linden, Washington, as far south as Central Point, and over to Coeur d'Alene, and over to Longview, Washington. So we are kind of all over the map, and we'll take as many participants as we can get.
So let's give you a rundown of where Rascal Rodeo is going to be. February 27th, they'll be at the track in Pasco. In April, they'll be in Kennewick. In May, Hermiston and Central Point, Oregon. June, we'll take the Rascal Rodeo to Union, Molalla, Oregon, as well as Longview, Washington. In August, they'll be in Toppenish and Linden, along with the Kennewick Ranch and Home. September is going to be Dayton. October, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. November, Yakima, and also Redmond, Oregon. And I understand you've got a few more on the horizon, too.
Yes, we just booked Walla Walla for September. That first Saturday in September, we'll be over there. We're working with Ritzville for that same weekend as well. We've got proposals out in Billings, Montana, Buckeye, Arizona, and Carson City, Nevada.
So Rascal Rodeo, are you a nonprofit organization?
Yes, we are a 501c3. We have been for about 5 years now, so we're celebrating our 5th year anniversary.
Now, as a nonprofit, you already told our listeners that you don't charge the participants a dime, but obviously you need money to operate. You get that through sponsorships, you get that through fundraisers, and you've got a fundraising dinner coming up on March 5th. Tell our listeners about this.
Yep, it's our 2nd annual Honky Tonk Hoedown, and it's Saturday, March 5th at the Pasco Red Lion, which they've given us great special room rates for people that are coming from out of town to stay there. 6 o'clock, silent auction and bar opens up. 7 to 9, we'll do our program and live auction. It's a ribeye dinner. It's a real good meal. And after the live auction, we'll do dancing with the DJ. And it's more of a come have fun, wear your boots and jeans and cowboy hat if you've got one, and come support our cause, because we have had requests from all over the U.S. and we need to get to those special needs communities.
I'll tell you what, folks, the cost to participate isn't much. It's only $55 a person or $500 for a table of 10. And as you can hear, this is an organization that's doing some really great things for some people that could really use some help. So let's talk about some of the auction and raffle items that you think attendees are going to be excited about this year.
Well, last year, we're still working on this year's items, but last year we had an autographed hat from 22-time world champion cowboy Trevor Brazil. That was a hot item. We had a bed made from an old pickup truck, so a queen-size bed. And this year we're working on some travel packages. There's a boutique hotel in Miami, Florida that has offered a 5-night stay over there.
Wow.
Yes, so I need to win the lottery to be able to get on a vacation, but we're working on different flights to different places. We've gotten people that have donated their personal family cabins to the auction. Wine Baskets, Great Harvest Bread Company, they have donated 2 baskets to us, and that has a bunch of goodies inside, and it includes a year's supply of bread.
Oh.
Yes, and last year one of the hot items was a Mountain Dew pack, and I think we'll have that again. It had Mountain Dew backpack and all kinds of goodies. And then local gal here in Tri-Cities, she makes the best chocolate dipped pretzels, and people were fighting over those last year. So we're working on different unique items that you probably don't get at other auctions.
There you go. All sorts of reasons to attend the 2nd annual Honky Tonk Hoedown. It's taking place Saturday, March 5th, 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. at the Red Lion in Pasco. Let's go ahead and give folks a website where they can find out more about this fundraiser and about your great organization.
rascalrodeo.org, and we're also big on social media. We've got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and they all have different pictures and videos showing people what we do, because you get a really good grasp of what we do by the pictures and videos.
Again, the website is rascalrodeo.org. That's rascalrodeo.org. Go find them online. Go find them on Facebook. And one more thing I want to talk about here. Volunteers, it sounds like you need them in all these venues. What kind of experience do they need to have?
They don't have to have any experience. They have to have a heart, we say. And you don't have to have any horse or rodeo experience. Just come and have fun. My 90-year-old grandpa has volunteered. My 7-year-old niece has volunteered. So age is not a factor in that. Just come and help show the special needs people that they're loved.
all sorts of reasons to check out rascalrodeo.org. You can go ahead again and find out when they're coming to a town near you, so you can take that person that's a special needs person that could really benefit from a day like this, or you can volunteer. And again, they've got that fundraising dinner too, and there's also opportunities to find out being a sponsor. It's all at rascalrodeo.org. And Erica, thanks so much for telling us about this on Northwestern Outdoors Radio.
Thank you. I appreciate the support.
Leupold Gold Ring Optics are built to perform at the highest level, shot after shot, year after year. Our rifle scopes, binoculars, spotting scopes, rangefinders, and more always come through when you need them most. That's why our American-built products have a lifetime guarantee. Or as we like to say here at Leupold, they are guaranteed for a lifetime of performance, not a lifetime of replacement. Find out more about our top-quality gear and our lifetime guarantee at leupold.com. Leupold, America's optics authority.
Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, a nationwide group working to keep public lands in public hands so future generations can enjoy what we enjoy. Join the group that makes a difference. Check us out at backcountryhunters.org.
Time for Outdoors News, and we've got great news for trout anglers in Idaho. The Fish and Game Department has secured public access to Silver Creek in eastern Idaho. The creek is known as one of the better trout streams in the Gem State, and the permanent public easement downstream of the U.S. Highway 20 bridge and north of Picaboo provides anglers access to some of the best rainbow and brown trout holes on the entire creek. We'd like to tip our hat not only to Idaho Fish and Game, but also to the Nick Purdy family, who owns this land and agreed to do this. This is a great opportunity for those of us who love do-it-yourself trout fishing. In Washington, pronghorn, also known as antelope, have been reintroduced into northeastern Washington on the Colville Tribal Reservation. Rich Landers with the Spokesman Review reports 72 pronghorn were rounded up in Nevada and released into an area that has not seen antelope for well over 50 years. This is the second reintroduction of antelope into the Evergreen State. In 2011, the Yakima tribe released 99 Nevada pronghorn onto their reservation. What's the prognosis for reestablishing these animals in good numbers in eastern Washington? Pretty good, I'd say. A recent survey found the Yakima herd has grown from 99 animals to 132. If the Colville herd grows in the same manner, we just might get a viable antelope population back in eastern Washington. Kudos goes out to both tribes on this. It's good to see the antelope coming back. Next up on Northwestern Outdoors Radio, we got a fishing report for you. We're talking to Bruce Hewitt. He is the owner of Going Fishing Guide Service out of the Tri-Cities. And this being February, it's time to talk about monster walleye on the Snake and Columbia Rivers. Bruce, welcome to the show.
Thanks, John. We're looking forward to a good spring season as far as the walleye are concerned. There have been some scattered reports of nice fish. Even recently here, as many as 13, 14-pound fish already starting to come in. And so, it's that time. Water temperatures are warming slightly. Fish seem to be moving to the staging areas just off the spawning areas where we can kind of concentrate on them with jigs and blade baits. And then as they get worked over a little bit, we tend to go to the deeper water and look for them, dragging spinners and worm harnesses.
The size of the walleye in this stretch of the Columbia and Snake Rivers near the Tri-Cities is just unheard of. I mean, you got folks coming from the Midwest because we're talking about the potential for 18 to 20-pound walleye. As a matter of fact, most people are betting that the new world record walleye and the new state record walleyes for both Washington and Oregon are going to come from this stretch of the river.
Well, I think that is a foregone conclusion. The shocking studies done by Oregon and Washington say that there are walleye in that 25-pound class, and those of us that, know people who have been down, like by Dalsport, where the Indian fish buying stations are and stuff, have seen some walleye in there that easily will exceed the record. So they're out here. It's a matter of getting lucky and putting it in front of the right fish, and then luckier still, not have that fish tear off before he gets to the net. Those heavy ones with that paper thin area around the mouth, are real candidates for tearing off. People get in a rush, trying to land them. They see the fish, and everybody wants to make sure they get it in net. Well, you can't lift a walleye to the net any more than you want to lift a salmon to the net if you want to put that fish, in the net.
That is some great advice. Let's talk about some other advice here when it comes to jigs, when it comes to blade baits, about how deep are you fishing in February, and what colors do you like to use?
Depth-wise, there's some shoal areas where you're fishing 18 to 25 feet with water that is, say, 35 feet right adjacent to it. A lot of times we're going to find the fish either at the top of the break or the bottom of that break. If you're trolling spinners and worm harnesses, I have better luck trolling cross current than I do downriver, which is pretty much the traditional way most people run a bottom walker. But for me, that has been a go-to, is to troll up and down those breaks. Color-wise, whether it's jigs or the blade baits, the jigs, I think that the perch pattern, something that has quite a bit of contrast to it, where you got maybe a red head and white body. I think maybe one of the keys now is people are going to more of the UV and the enhanced fluorescence type coatings, on the belly of the fish. When you're picking these jigs up ever so slightly, a lot of times, you're picking them up no more than a foot.
Interesting.
And setting it back down. And I think, the guys that are the real walleye aficionado would tell you is don't do something consistently. In other words, jig it a few times at the foot, bring it up 6 inches and stop it and hold it for 5 or 10 seconds and then drop it. There's something about something that's been held stationary and suddenly makes a move that seems to trigger a response.
Well, Bruce, this is some great stuff. Now, folks, you can go ahead and head down here near the Tri-Cities, Burbank area, and try your luck. And you might get lucky. You got some great advice here from Bruce, but I would really recommend, if it's your first time, going with a guide like Bruce. And let's go ahead and give folks your phone number and website so they can indeed book a trip with you.
Yeah, my phone number, my cell number is 509-430-6448. If you want to go online and contact me, my website is catchingmorefish.com.
That's catchingmorefish.com. Catchingmorefish.com is the website for Going Fishing Guide Service. The phone number again, 509-430-6448. That's 509-430-6448 or catchingmorefish.com. Go ahead and book a trip with Bruce Hewitt and get into some of those monster walleye. You never know, you might just get the next world record. Bruce, thanks for telling us all about it on Northwestern Outdoors Radio.
Thank you, John.
I'm Bob Loomis, and I fish for walleye. Sometimes when I'm out on the water, I feel like a destroyer captain hunting for targets with my electronics. I'm not hunting submarines, though. I'm hunting fish, and when I find that big one on the fish finder, I want to make sure she's going to bite. That's where the Smile Blade Slow Death Rig from Max Lure comes in. The Smile Blade spins and flashes at ultra-slow speeds, and the one-of-a-kind red hook keeps that bait moving in a way the fish can't resist. It's the Smile Blade Slow Death Rig, only from Max Lure.
Looking for a quality fishing adventure that won't break the bank? Then head to Canada for an all-inclusive fishing vacation with Chad's Coastwide Sports Fishing. Big salmon, halibut, snapper, and lingcod are waiting for you off Vancouver Island. But space is limited, so book now at coastwidesportsfishing.com. That's coastwidesportsfishing.com.
It doesn't matter what sort of adventure you're after. Whether it's big game deep in the backcountry, a day of fishing out on the water, or an overnight in the great outdoors. At Sportsman's Warehouse, we've got the gear in here for what you need out there. Gear up for your next adventure at one of the Sportsman's Warehouse stores or shop online. Sportsman's Warehouse, America's premier outfitter.
One more time this week for Northwestern Outdoors Radio with John Cruz.
It's time to talk about some upcoming events, and one that I really am excited about telling you about is the 6th annual U auction fundraiser taking place at the Best Western Lakefront Inn in Moses Lake. Saturday, March 5th is the date. Now, U stands for Youth Outdoors Unlimited. And with us here to tell us more about this organization and this event is Cindy Carpenter. Cindy, always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Good to see you, John.
Let's go ahead and give the brief elevator speech about Youth Outdoors Unlimited.
So Youth Outdoors Unlimited is a 501c3 corporation and our mission statement is to take kids with life-threatening illnesses and physical disabilities on free, fully guided hunting or fishing adventures.
And you've been doing this for a while now. It's not like you're new to this game. You've got several years under your belt. You've gotten quite a few kids who have gotten to go out and bag everything from bear to deer to pronghorn and catch fish from walleye to salmon to steelhead and more. So it's been very successful, but obviously you need funding to do this, and this fundraiser is one of 3 you'll have this year, but it's the first one coming up. What's going to happen on March 5th?
On March 5th will be our 6th annual banquet for Youth Outdoors, again at the Best Western Lakefront Inn in Moses Lake. We are looking for people to come and meet these children, watch them get their taxidermy presented to them, learn what Youth Outdoors is about, and help us raise some money to take even more kids in 2016.
So, traditionally at these fundraising events, there's usually some auction and raffle items. What are some of the ones that folks are going to be excited about winning this year?
Well, of course, we'll have some great gun raffles this year again, and silent auction, bucket raffle items. We'll have a couple nice firearms in our live auction. We've got a great turkey hunt for a youth guided. All of your food and everything's included, and includes a youth shotgun. Wow. That'll be exciting. I've actually put together with another one of the vendors that we met here at the show, and so we have a ladies 38 special, and it's going to include her concealed weapons training and probably some accessories to go with that. That could be exciting for some of the ladies. We also, next to our booth with Siku Charters, donated a fishing trip for 6 people, valued at about $1,800. So that, our antelope hunt is always a big item. We've got African safaris. We're always looking for more items, so donations are great.
All right. Well, if you want to donate or if you want to attend, this is a great cause. Again, it's Youth Outdoors Unlimited, their annual fundraiser, Saturday, March 5th at the Best Western Lakefront Inn in Moses Lake. And the website where you can find out more is what, Cindy?
Is youthoutdoors and the letter u.org. We are working on our website, but from that information, they can get my contact information. We'll also be at the Wenatchee Show and the Yakima Show. So if they're locals and want more information, they can meet us at the booth out there.
All right, so check them out at the Wenatchee or Yakima Sportsman Shows coming up in February, or go to their website, youthoutdoorsu.org. That's youthoutdoorsu.org. Cindy, thanks for telling us about this on Northwestern Outdoors.
Thanks, John.
In other upcoming events, let's go ahead and run down what sportsman shows are coming up in the next few weeks. The Pacific Northwest Sportsman Show, the biggest one in the entire Northwest, is going on right now through Sunday at the Expo Center in Portland. You've got to visit that one. This coming weekend, Yakima is the place to be for the Central Washington Sportsman Show. That one's going off in the Sun Dome on February 19th through the 21st. The week after that, we will be at the Wenatchee Sportsman Show. That's February 26th through the 28th at the Town Toyota Center. That's coming back after a year-long absence. Should be a lot of fun. I expect really good crowds. Another show going on this same weekend, the 26th through the 28th, is the Great Rocky Show in Helena. The following week is the Central Oregon Sportsman Show. That one's in Redmond, taking place at the Deschutes County Fairgrounds from March 3rd through the 6th. And I'll tell you what, if you are looking for an RV, this is a great show to go to. I've never seen so many RVs at a sportsman show as I have at this one. The Great Rocky Show hits the road in Missoula on March 12th and 13th, and then the Bighorn Sportsman Show, another one we attend every year, is going to take place at the Interstate Fairgrounds in Spokane, March 17th through the 20th. Can't wait to see you there. One other event to mention is the Winter Wings Birdwatching Festival. It's taking place this weekend through Valentine's Day in Klamath Falls. There are all sorts of programs, seminars, and activities taking place on the refuge there. And if you enjoy bird watching and learning about wildlife, this will be a lot of fun. Check out their website, winterwingfest.org, and get down there to Klamath Falls this weekend. And now, it's time for your trivia question of the week, brought to you by Sportsman's Warehouse. We're going to make this one pretty easy. Let's talk about geese. In particular, a white goose found on the west part of the Cascades, but increasing on the east part of the Cascades and found in the Rocky Mountain states as well. They wing their way from down north. Again, they're a white goose. They've got black wingtips. What are they called? Think of winter, and you'll probably get the answer to this one. Give us your guess on our Facebook page at Northwestern Outdoors Radio. Simply like our page, look for the post, and give us your answer there. Or you can go through our website at northwesternoutdoors.com. Go to the Contact Us page. Let us know again. What is this white goose with the black wingtips that we often see during the winter months here in the great Northwest? One person who guesses right will win the $25 gift card we give away every week from Sportsman's Warehouse. And speaking of Sportsman's Warehouse, they've got a Valentine's Day sale going on online through Valentine's Day. You can save up to $270 in certain products. So check that out at sportsmanswarehouse.com. Speaking of the web, go to RenoViolaOutdoors.com. That's the home of WRVO Radio. It's an internet station dedicated to outdoors programming 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. We're part of the lineup. Glad we're there. The website again, RenoViolaOutdoors.com. This is Valentine's Day, so I hope you've got something special planned for your sweetie. And if you're looking for ideas, well, maybe a nice winter hike or maybe some wildlife watching followed by a nice romantic dinner. Just an idea for you there. Until next time, take care, happy Valentine's Day, God bless you, and make it a point to spend some time outdoors.